Hi again then guys, and welcome back to a series which we haven't done in quite some time. Last time was for Gran Turismo 6, and the vast majority of the episodes are on Gran Turismo 6, Dirtmasters Unplugged. This was always a series where we took a car which didn't have a rally equivalent in Gran Turismo, and then we turned it into one, like a Pikes Peak car, or a Rallycross car, or a Group B style car. Now this occasion is kind of a mix of a number of them. There's no specific class in mind. I'm calling it Rallycross, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Now the car in question is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. It's a road car, of course. I've detuned it just a little bit to N400. You can do that without upgrading the power, and I would, as you can see, recommend dropping that weight as much as possible, but you don't have to. So of course all of these upgrades are purely down to you. So you can still use it for balance of performance, just fit all the other parts instead of the power and weight, or all of the settings to be more specific. Now, you want traction control turned off, definitely, for rallying. It slows you down way too much. Dirt tyres, of course, or snow, depending on the track. Not necessarily at the moment, but for future reference. As far as the brake balance, I haven't adjusted that. You might want to. I know some people like to change that for rallying, but of course that's down to you. As far as the suspension, we've got the ride height on 120 on the front, 150 on the rear, so it is lowered compared to the default settings, but it's still high enough. You don't want it to be like a truck, or maybe you do. Obviously you can raise it up if you want to. As far as the frequency, we've left that on 2. Anti-roll I've got on 5, front and rear. Feel free to change any of these, by the way. That's always the point of the tunes. As far as compression, I've reduced that to 55. Rebound on 85. We're running 1 degree of camber, and that's primarily because it's a rear-wheel drive car, so that just helps you out a little bit, stops it from overcooking it through corners, especially in conjunction with the diff settings, which of course we'll get to in a second. And you can take that higher, of course, you can take it lower. It's all down to personal preference. We've got neutral toe as well. Downforce you can't adjust, unfortunately. As far as the diff, I've got it, as you can see, as low as possible on all 3 to keep the steering fairly loose, but I was actually very surprised by just how well this car handles. I expected it to be very slippery, very twitchy off-road, and also to be basically incapable of putting down the power properly, which is a problem that we'd have with a lot of rear-wheel drive, and also, in a different way, front-wheel drive cars on GT6, which is one of the main reasons why I didn't do those tunes for rear-wheel drive cars that often, for rallying, whereas on GT Sport, that's not as much of an issue. This car is actually very good off-road, I'm very happy to say. As far as the gearbox, you want the fully customised transmission, the race gearbox in effect. I would recommend an auto setting of 155, because of course it's not a top speed tune. The gears are very close, as you can see. We've got 3.7, 2.7, 2.1, 1725, 1475, 1.3, 1175, and then I've opted for a final drive of 4. So, that's it for the tune. N400 class, as I said, but if you want to take the power higher, then by all means you can do that, or lower if you want to as well. Likewise with the weight, build it to whatever you need, but all that remains, of course, is to take this pretty unique take on a rally car out on the dirt to see if it can actually cut it as a rally car. Now, as I said, I was expecting this car to be maybe okay for rallying at best. I didn't expect it to be great, for sure, and that was mainly based on the track record of rear-wheel drive cars on GT6. Something like the Stratos, you pay 2 million credits, and you get a car which can be pretty easily outrun by any of the Subaru rally cars, any of the Evos, even with far less power. So I went into this with measured expectations. It was from the outset much more of a novelty tune, having a Porsche rally car. It's kind of a cool thing. And that is what many of the cars in this series are. They are more novelty-based builds. However, this car, novelty aside, just pulls off being a good rally car. It really is as simple as that. It's far better off-road than I realistically expected it to be. You can't even tell most of the time that it's rear-wheel drive. It handles itself extremely well. The rear engine, rear drive layout is no way near as challenging as it can be on the road. In fact, I will go so far as to say that with this particular tune, and of course different tuning will probably make a difference, but with this tune on this track with this car, I would say it feels better off-road than on-road. On the road it's very fast, but off-road it feels strangely at home, which is strange, but pretty cool as well. So if you do decide to use your Porsche for rallying and decide to use this tune, and incidentally the livery as well is also available from my community page, as you can see it's the official livery of this channel, then of course you can pick that up as well and have the whole package. But overall, if you do decide to use the tune in particular, I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and of course stick around on the channel for more like this in the future. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.